Ladies and gentlemen, this story is gaining steam, and it should. It should be something that Republicans focus on and that Democrats focus on. President Biden is trying to keep people safe with counterproductive laws, making or curbing the Second Amendment. Now, or anti-Second Amendment laws. Let's just put it that way. Senators ask Secret Service director to explain role in Hunter Biden's firearm incident. We'll refer to it as his .38 because that's what his girlfriend threw in a dumpster near a school. Let's unpack this, the term that I can't stand, that wonderful people always use, who are morally superior liberals, and they're just fantastic human beings. I love them. I used to be one of them. Let's unpack this. Hunter's girlfriend got into an argument with him. Forget about the fact he left a laptop in the mail. Oh, sorry, that was the Clintons. Bill Clinton sent a laptop. Or no, sorry, one of the foundation officials sent a laptop in the mail, and Comey believed that. Okay, you're talking about a world where Democrats in particular get away with everything, and then they just purchase a dossier and accuse Trump of things that he never did. The most absurd allegations, tinfoil hat theories. But this stuff, no one touches. So let's talk about this. Okay. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. This is important. Hunter's girlfriend throws his .38 into a dumpster. The dumpster happens to be across the street or right near a high school. This is the problem with morally superior Democrats. They think that the .38 actually is a sentient being, and it's lucent and cognizant of things and can actually think and levitate and pull its own trigger and all that. They think that it's like a living thing. You have to understand the mind of, I used to a long time ago, even I never really had that mentality, because I actually had the mentality on that issue as well of the left a long time ago. Then I learned and I understood that criminals, for example, don't follow laws. But here's the problem. His girlfriend threw his .38 into a dumpster. Okay, that is a crime right there. You cannot throw a .38 that your boyfriend owns, or that anyone owns, or that you don't own, or that you own even, into a dumpster, because someone could obtain it and then utilize it to commit a terrible, heinous atrocity. But you have to understand that it's like a demonic entity to the minds of morally superior, indignant, and righteous Democrats. So she took, literally, this is in a Politico article. I'll read it to you. Okay? The incident occurred during the period after Hunter Biden's administrative discharge from the Naval Reserves for his positive test for white powder substance and divorce from his wife. At the time of the .38 incident, Hunter was in a romantic relationship with, his girlfriend at the time. The incident began when his girlfriend searched Hunter's pickup, which was parked at her home in Wilmington, because of an unspecified suspicion she had, according to Delaware State Police report. Inside the truck, she found a .38. She then took it to Jansen's Market, a nearby high-end grocery store, where the Bidens are longtime regular customers. There, she tossed the .38 wrapped in a shopping bag into a trash bin outside the store. Didn't notify his father, who happens to be, our beloved president, The former vice president didn't notify any of the Secret Service that he had, because eventually the Secret Service got involved in helping prevent or preventing or stopping the state police from investigating. This is according to Politico, one of the allegations in the Politico article. But I just want you, I understand people, a lot of people just say, oh, that's just, par for the course. That's what they always do. Democrats get away with everything. You have to understand something. This is an enormous story, controversy, political pitfall for President Biden, because if it's ever investigated, see, Democrats and President Biden want to make it difficult, very difficult, a lot more difficult for law-abiding citizens to obtain firearms. So they don't realize that criminals will obtain anything they want to. Criminals do not, people intent on committing crimes don't abide by laws. This is a very difficult, very, very bizarre phenomenon to wonderful, morally superior, oftentimes apoplectic, great human beings who vote Democrat. They don't realize that you can ban something and you can make it very difficult to obtain, and if you're Hunter Biden, not only will you get away from a powdered substance issue, which, by the way, Biden, they talk about Trump being this bigoted, horrible person. He signed prison reform legislation. First Step Act. It was Biden who wrote the crime bill with the 100-to-1 sentencing disparity. So anyone pontificating about how Biden, or how they voted for Biden, but Trump is a horrible human being, pretty much doesn't know anything about history or the history of Biden's role in creating the problems that we have. Biden wrote the part of the crime bill where there was a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity. So 100 people of color to every one person like his son Hunter getting arrested or convicted for the same illegal substance that Hunter was kicked out of the Navy for. Okay, and that he was accused, and then there are the pictures of him consuming or paraphernalia. So she did this because she felt that he was depressed and he had substance issues. So she didn't want him to have the .38, so she threw it in the garbage bin. Now, that is a crime. She committed a crime. He committed numerous crimes. And, well, one in particular in lying on the registration form, saying that he never had an issue with substances. He was kicked out of the Navy. Okay, and she threw his .38 into the trash, or the garbage bin, because she said that he was depressed and had substance abuse issues and all that. Now, lying on the form is a felony. Okay, so Hunter responded no to a question on the transaction record that asks, are you an unlawful user or, any depressant, stimulant, other controlled substance. So he was using controlled substances. 5 years earlier, he had been discharged. The police got involved and then investigated what happened to the .38. Eventually, somebody rummaging through the trash found the .38, and then notified the police or the store. Okay, so he got lucky. Could you imagine if, God forbid, somebody had? But you don't do that. See, you don't just if you don't just throw it. If you want to hide it from your spouse, fine. But I mean, if you're have that mentality that you have to hide it, fine, okay, for whatever reason. But you don't go ahead and throw it in a dumpster. That's a felony right there. Then it's a felony to lie on the form pertaining to the substance issues. Then it's almost certainly some kind of criminal act to get the Secret Service to stop or prevent further investigation, which they tried to do. They went to the store that sold him the 38 and they tried to obtain records. The Secret Service did. Okay? The store owner said, "No, we're not going to do that." Then they said, "Well, U.S. Secret Service records confirm that the agency did not provide protection." What do you think? Do you think they're going to write that they went in? So this is a story explaining how, yeah, all the evidence shows that almost certainly the Secret Service went to bat for Hunter Biden. This is the backdrop here is that his father, the president, is making it more difficult for ordinary law-abiding citizens of all backgrounds, by the way. Okay, the Second Amendment is loved by everyone in the country of every background, men and women of every single ethnicity, background, nationality, whatever. This is a beautiful right to have. You blame an inanimate object for the evil and the heinous atrocities, and you can look at the FBI data and statistics. What they're the data does not actually disproves the hysterical and purely emotional rants and raving. Like, what Democrats do is they see a tragedy and they say, "You see, we're right, you see." It's like, how on earth do you equate more laws to preventing a person intent on committing the most despicable and evil act known to man? How do you think that person is going to be either prevented? Because we've seen in cities that have the strictest codes and regulations and the strictest laws curbing the Second Amendment, that it doesn't work. You can look, every major city that's run by Democrats has a really terrible issue with violence associated. But the violence is not. The Washington Post even ran a story. The data shows that the majority of firearms purchased by criminals are illegally obtained. The vast majority of the time, they're not going to normal channels. Okay? The vast majority of the time. So laws will not stop people from committing horrible, horrible acts. Laws won't stop even Hunter Biden, the president's son, especially when the Secret Service gets involved. But anyway, it's important because senators ask Secret Service director to explain role. So Republican senators are demanding answers from the U.S. Secret Service, the FBI, and so now you have the usual typical cover-up. Well, we didn't find any evidence. Nobody admitted. And it's like all of these. If you're on the left, you're worried about some deranged person going in and trying to inflict as much damage and casualties as possible. Why don't you allow people to arm themselves? Why? Why is that? So that, again, simple, common sense, logical rebuttals have no response. Oh, more 38s or more, it's always the same sense. Their rebuttals, their arguments always flow through the sensibilities of oftentimes apoplectic, morally superior Democrats. It's about emotion. It's not about logic and reason. If you just look, when I had a threat on my life, I went directly to the police department, filed a police report. I still have the police report on the Twitter profile. And the police officer said, yeah, go ahead and basically arm yourself. Hello, go ahead and do that. And so I did, because I have the right to, as an American citizen. Everyone does. Okay? Every citizen of this country does. But I don't have the difference is I don't have a Secret Service protecting me. I don't have I don't have the money of a Hollywood celebrity with a security service. So the business of protecting myself and my family, that's on me. It's on you as well. You have to protect yourself and your family. And if you live in this country, the greatest country in the world in my view, that's why I live here, you have the right to do so with the Second Amendment. You also used to have the First Amendment, but that's the Democrats are trying to throw that down the tubes also. Anyway, give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe.